A missing boy returned home after 3 years. His family hugged him. The FBI welcomed him back. There was only one problem. He wasn't their son. Here's what nobody tells you up front. The real boy had blue eyes. This man had brown eyes. The real boy had no accent. This man spoke English with a thick French accent. The real boy would have been 16. This man was 23. 7 years older. Different eyes, different ears, different voice, different age, and almost everyone around him still chose to believe. So how does something like this even happen? Let's go back to the beginning. 13-year-old Nicholas Barclay lived in a working-class neighborhood in San Antonio, Texas. On the night of June 13th, 1994, he got into an argument with his mother after a basketball game and left the house to call his older brother from a payphone. He was never seen again. Police searched. The family put up flyers across the city. Weeks turned into months and the trail went cold. Nicholas became one of thousands of missing teen cases that quietly disappear into police archives. 3 years passed. In the fall of 1997, a thin, frightened young man walked into a youth shelter in Soares, in a small town in southern Spain. He refused to give his real name at first, claiming he'd escaped a sex trafficking ring that had held him for years. When he finally spoke a name, it was Nicholas Barclay. Spanish authorities called the American consulate. The case landed on the FBI's desk. They pulled an old file. A missing boy from Texas, same name, right age range. The family got the call no one expects after 3 years. Your son might be alive. Nicholas's older sister flew to Spain to bring her brother home, and in the first few seconds, everything that should have ended this story was already standing in front of her. Wrong eye color, wrong age, a foreign accent that made no sense for a kid from Texas. She hugged him anyway. After 3 years of grief, she told herself this was her brother. That decision is the reason everything that follows happened. He was flown to the U.S. He moved into the family home. He enrolled in Nicholas's old school. For months, an entire community called him by a dead boy's name. Not everyone bought it. A private investigator named Charlie Parker was hired by a local TV station to cover what they thought was a feel-good boy comes home story. Within minutes of meeting him, Parker knew something was wrong. The ears were a different shape. The pronunciation was off. When Parker asked directly why he had a French accent, the answer was absurd. He claimed he'd picked it up from his captors during years of torture. Parker brought it to the FBI. Agent Nancy Fisher took the case, and when she compared the imposter's ear structure to old-school photos of the real Nicholas, nothing lined up. Not one feature matched. This was not Nicholas Barclay. A DNA test settled it for good. The man who had been living inside the Barclay family home for nearly 5 months had no biological connection to them whatsoever. His real name was Frédéric Bourdin, a French national and a serial imposter who had spent years posing as missing children and orphans across Europe, slipping from one stolen identity to the next. This wasn't his first disguise. It wouldn't be his last. Bourdin pleaded guilty to fraud and lying to federal agents. He served prison time and was deported back to France afterward. On the surface, this looks like a closed case. Imposter caught. Story over. But the real mystery was never about him. Here's the question that never went away. The one Charlie Parker couldn't shake, and the one this entire story actually hinges on. Why did the family accept him? Not how did he fool them. How did a mother, a sister, and an older brother live alongside a stranger with the wrong eyes, the wrong age, and a foreign accent for almost half a year without demanding answers? That question led investigators and documentary filmmakers to a theory that was never proven in court. That part of the family may have known the truth from the start and chose silence over questions. Suspicion centered on Nicholas's older brother, a man with a history of violence in the household, who died before the case was ever fully resolved. The theory investigators raised, that the real Nicholas may not have vanished at the hands of a stranger at all. and that the imposter's arrival gave the family an unexpected way to close a chapter without ever reopening the question of what really happened to him. To be clear, this was never proven in court. The disappearance of Nicholas Barclay remains officially unsolved. The family has publicly denied these suspicions. But the fact remains: a household accepted a stranger with different eyes, a different age, and a foreign accent, and asked almost no questions for nearly half a year. That detail alone makes this one of the strangest accepted impersonations in American criminal history. Frédéric Bourdin didn't stop after Texas. Over the years, he's been linked to dozens of false identities across Europe, almost always playing the role of a missing child or an orphan. The Barclay case became his most infamous disguise, and it later became the subject of a documentary investigation into his life. As for Nicholas Barclay, the real missing boy from Texas, his fate remains unknown. He was never found. Sometimes the scariest part of a crime isn't the lie itself. It's how easily people choose to believe it, when the truth is too painful to face. If this one got you, hit subscribe. We're covering darker cases every week. Drop a comment. Do you think the family was fooled or hiding something?